Hi everyone, this is a quick overview of the time management system that I describe in a blog post, and you should check that out for more details. And so the goal here is to basically have life under control and to avoid drama and stress. And the main philosophy that I follow is that one should really be using calendars to manage their time and not to-do lists. And the reason is that calendars convert very explicitly time to space, so you can actually see how much you can fit in a certain amount of time, what you can actually get done, and that's important. So the approach that I use is that every single thing that I want to do is an entry on my calendar. So it could be various routine things, it could be meetings, it could be personal chores, breaks that I want to take, any other tasks, it's all on the calendar. And then I do the thing that I have planned to do at that time, and once I get it done, I move that task to this other calendar called the done calendar. And so as I get things done, they all move to the done calendar. And the idea is to go to bed with an empty to-do calendar, either because you got everything done that you wanted to do, or because you've replanned and moved anything that you didn't get to some other future time where it is feasible. And so at the end of the day, you have a nice clear calendar. There are a few principles that are important here to this basic approach. One is that everything takes time, and so everything needs to be on your calendar. You saw this in the example that I just showed. The second principle is that you should incorporate your multiplier factor. Things often take longer than you think they will, and so when you're planning something, you know that things tend to take, let's say, twice as long as you think. Then you should incorporate that when you're putting this task on your calendar, even if at the time it seems like a ridiculous amount of time. If that's what the data suggests, you should follow it. The third principle is to incorporate your pattern. So for example, if unexpected things tend to show up at work, you can just have an hour buffer somewhere in the afternoon. It might have to move around based on when things actually happen, but you can just have this buffer to deal with it. If every so often you need to tend to leave work maybe half an hour early because you need to pick up your kids, if something comes up for your partner, then that can again just be a buffer on your calendar. If you're not a morning person, don't plan on getting things done before, let's say, 9 a.m. If your friends tend to make impromptu plans on Saturdays, then you can just have a buffer that says something might come up with them, and so don't plan on getting anything else done then. If you don't like doing things on Sundays, if you tend to be too tired, then you can just block the whole day off and not plan on doing anything on those days. And so the basic idea being that you should give yourself plenty of buffer and not mix in battles. If you are trying to be more of a morning person but you haven't quite gotten there yet, it's great to be working on it, but don't start planning on doing things then, which might then make you fall behind. A fourth important principle is to replan, where you might start off with a plan that's feasible, but for a variety of reasons you might not actually be able to follow it. Then just move things to other open slots, and there might be a bit of a ripple effect based on urgency of things, your preferences. For example, if I didn't get to this paper, I can move that to Tuesday, but then Tuesday's paper, I don't want to put it on Wednesday because I don't want to break the coding block, and so I might go ahead and put that on the Thursday. And after you replan, you once again have a feasible plan, and you can go from there, rinse and repeat. A few other principles that I won't be able to talk about in detail because I'm trying to keep this brief, but you can check it out in the blog post if you'd like, is to break things down. Instead of having large tasks, break them down into smaller ones before you put them on the calendar. Principle 6 is to backtrack from a certain deadline, figure out when you actually should be getting started on things, and foresee. If you know you have a trip coming up and you're not going to be able to get work done in that week, you should foresee that on your calendar and plan around it. And the last principle is to visualize your time. The day, every night, I often look at the next day and get a sense for, do I have a solid block of time and I'll be able to get work done, or do I have a whole bunch of meetings back to back, but then I'll have a few hours to get things done, or it'll be interspersed with a whole bunch of meetings here and there, but then also open slots in the middle. And maybe my whole week looks like Wednesday and Thursday I'll have solid chunks of time. Monday is going to be a lot of meetings, but at least they're back to back. And then Friday looks like it's interspersed. I might not get much else done, and so I won't plan on doing much else on Friday. And so that's essentially it. To quickly summarize, backtrack and foresee to figure out when you can actually get things done. Make everything that you want to do a task on your calendar. When you're putting it on your calendar, incorporate your multiplier factor, incorporate your patterns, break large tasks down into smaller ones. And then once it's all on the calendar, do the things at the time to the extent possible. Once you do them, move them to the done calendar. Visualize your time, see what your tomorrow and next week looks like, and go to bed with an empty tasks calendar, either because you got everything done or because you replanned and have a new feasible plan now. So this is a link to the blog post. You're welcome to check it out if you'd like. And that's all I have. Thanks.